The object of Taxi Chronicles is to allow real riders with real stories share their experience and enhance your life. So sit back and enjoy the journey. Morning, morning, morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another rider. Today we have the one and only Amin, and is that say it right?
Amir.
Amir, okay, Amir. That's what happens when you don't pay attention in school. This is a special one for my beloved daughter, because he is a dentist.
Training to be a
dentist. And we're having a conversation, and it's very informative. So he's going to tell us a bit about his career, why he got into it, and the route he's taken. I quote, "Taken, baby girl, you got to listen to this." Because he's saying exactly what I said you should be doing. So, personal things aside, nice to have you here today, Amir.
Pleasure.
Why dentistry?
So if I just take you back, probably when I was like 16, straight away leaving college, the way things turned out for me is I love science basically, as a general. I just love anything that's science related, just didn't really know much where to go, essentially. So a lot of people kind of directed me to the route of like pharmacy, optometry. Dentistry for me actually at first was very intimidating, because I thought, you had to be that kind of like top notch, best of the best and everything else. But in reality, it's a different story. But anyways, so I went to study, well, not study, actually, I kind of like done a little research on optometry when I was 16.
What's optometry?
Optometry is when you study of eyes. So an eye optician, basically, an eye doctor.
All right.
We don't call them doctors yet because they don't have any kind of medical, how do you say it, like, they don't have like kind of an exception in the council. Mm-hmm. Only dentists just about got their name as a doctor. Anyways, so I worked in a lot of like opticians, like Specsavers, Vision Express, and everything else. It was a great experience, learning kind of the, how do you say it, the discipline, and so on and so forth. But unfortunately, it was for me personally, it was very sales related rather than clinical. It wasn't much hands-on. It was like, the optician does the eye check, pretty much, gives it to someone else, like an assistant or something, and then basically they just make sure that they close the deal and get some glasses, and that's all. There's nothing like that complicated for me personally. I just saw a lot of repetitive things. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was like, nah, I'm not really doing it.
So it's get the sale in, sell the glasses, and move on.
Yeah, that's literally it. Like, the worst case scenario, my glasses are broken. Okay, wow, just take some new glasses and that's it. That's the job done. So I kind of left that area, got myself into dentistry. Dentistry was, obviously studying it's crazy. It's really hard. It's not the easiest of things. But the great thing is you can make a lot of connections. So I feel like when I graduate properly and have my GDC number and everything else, I can actually, get into connections with a lot of people and just get into work and, get together and give what we need to give and deliver to the patients what they want. So at the moment, obviously, during my time, I wanted to work and make some money, of course. What I did on my, I think, second year, I decided to do something extra. Obviously, it's already a heavy load to do dentistry, but I've done dental nursing on the side. I've done a course.
And how long was that course?
1 year.
How much?
Literally just 1 year.
Okay.
The courses are quite, reasonable. It's like £1,000, £2,000. Mm-hmm. It's very reasonable prices. And the good thing is you don't need to pay it all up front. Just pay installments. That's it. Get your life easier. Okay. You don't need to pay it all up front. Like some course providers are very nice, and you let them know your circumstances. You're a student. They don't expect you to pay everything.
All right. Now, can I ask you, the degree that you're doing,
yes,
dentist, does that cover dental nursing anyway?
I mean, if I look at it now, so from the dental nursing course itself, you learn a lot of like diseases and like a lot of dental appliances, like the equipments that you use. So it's literally all related to dentistry. So when you're studying dentistry, you're kind of learning that already within that course. So it's kind of like you're not really missing out anything. You don't have to read an extra book to, do the dental nursing. It's very easy. Like coming from a like as a dentist, like a dentist student, you can like pace it off very easily. It's not hard at all. So it's very, very easy to pass the course. Obviously, there's three little factors that you need to accomplish during your dental nursing. Apart from the lessons, you need to do three things, which is the ROE, which stands for Record of Experience. So you need to record all the patients that you see. Obviously, it's
Did
much.
the patient sign the book, or is
They sign like a consent form saying, "Look, you're gonna be in my records. I'm not gonna take any of your names, just your initials, and your age." And obviously your gender, that's it. And they just basically accept it. And obviously as a dental nurse, you're not touching this person, so they're not really uncomfortable. They're like, oh yeah, well, dentists see me anyways, but we're just taking them for a record. So if we need to give them like dentures, braces, all that stuff, and we need that for our records, the patients would be really happy to help out.
Was there other people who did dental nursing prior to doing their degree?
A lot of people, actually. I feel like the more mature students mostly do dental nursing. Why? Because they like to kind of, because they have a lot more time, I guess, to kind of understand or experience, is this what they really want to do for the rest of their life? Dentistry, of course, is 5 years itself, but then again, okay, the money and everything else, the glam is all nice, but are you really going to be responsible for every single patient every single day? Are you going to have the same attitude towards work? You can't just change your mind, and just because you feel a bit off, you're going to put the patient in danger. So
yeah, some people are really dirty, innit?
There you go. So
I couldn't do that job, man.
if
Not
you
me.
you slept on the wrong side of the bed or something in the morning, you can't just take it out on your patients. Yeah, like
he says he don't need me.
That's it. That's it.
Scalpel, pliers.
Yeah, I mean, like, literally, in terms of the, like I said, the seeing the patients.
So going back to the dentistry.
Yeah.
What have you learned through your time in dentistry that you wish you knew at the beginning?
Ooh, that's a good question. I feel like all the theory is nice. The resources and everything else is great. But the thing is, it's the actual, how to speak with patients. Every patient is different. And there is no, how do I say it? There's no way to kind of understand patients, what they truly want. And we usually use a lot of, for example, psychological techniques to kind of initiate, how do you say it, an engagement with them to understand what they want, how we can overcome their fears of dentistry. Because I'm pretty sure not everyone loves dentistry, and no one likes to coming to a dental appointment. So it's really hard for a lot of people to actually attend an appointment. And for us, it's very important to kind of, the communication is really, really vital. And that's why I feel like I wish I would learn earlier. And I'm not saying I need to read a book about it, but I wish I'd kind of brought more patients in and brought more family, friends and everything else. I was kind of closed-minded. I was just like, I'm just going to study it. Just going to make sure that I just get aces and everything else.
My daughter. I had 17 of my teeth were fake. So I had rickets as a child.
Okay.
So I've got all gold at the back and caps at the front.
Okay.
Or crowns, whatever you call them. And one of them fell out. So the dentist, this was during lockdown, so I'm walking around with this little stem and this gold tooth.
No way.
So the dentist said, you can buy this cement and put it back in. So I thought, well, I'll get my daughter to do it because she goes, I ain't doing that, Dad.
No way.
I said, I thought you meant to love this subject. So I went to talk to her mum. I said, what's wrong with our girl? I thought she does it. She goes, well, Ricky, and she's just going to learn, that kind of thing. And she probably just her idea was that she just does it when she does it.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? But I said, no, baby girl, you need to get in practice now. And
That's it.
And the best person to do is your old man, because your mum may not forgive you if you make a mistake.
That's it.
I will. I will.
Just do whatever you want to do.
I'm not worried about my girl so much as your mum would be worried. Yeah, in that respect. Yeah, sorry. So you were saying, what's the best university? So obviously I spoke to you about King's.
Yeah.
I spoke to you about King's. I spoke to you about
Queen Mary.
Queen Mary's in Glasgow.
Yeah.
My baby girl wants to go to Glasgow, but she just wants the experience of being away from home.
Listen, I mean, first of all, for me personally, I don't. Obviously, there's a bit of a balance between London. I obviously love it and hate it at the same time.
You from London?
I'm from London, yeah. I'm from Northwest.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of pros. I mean, if you're living with your parents, and if your parents are quite open-minded, I'd say just attend King's. Why? Because number one, you're not spending so much ridiculous amount of money, loans, maintenance loans, all that kind of stuff, just to kind of barely able to survive. Because university obviously doesn't really pay off everything you do. You have to have some kind of a hustle, a side hustle, like at least some kind of a weekend job. And that's the problem was for me. And I had to kind of think of my own way to kind of gain extra money. But to be honest with you, because I'm studying in King's and I live with my parents, I kind of had the opportunity to kind of not worry about rent and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was going to say. You said about open-minded with your parents.
Yes.
What did you mean?
So, I mean, the only reason why you want to go outside into another city or another country to study university, I feel like most students just feel like they've been very restricted. So they never had they have a curfew or something. You always have to be back at 9 o'clock, 8 p.m. You're not allowed to go with this person, that person, this and that.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like a lot of people, they didn't have the opportunity to kind of, to gain this experience. And they want to have that experience of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest with you, I'm a guy that feels like, the first 3-4 months, 6 months of freedom is nice. But then you just start then responsibility kicks in, the bills, the food, and you got to think about how you're going to pay. Because obviously you're going to be living on like noodles for like 1 month. So it's crazy. I mean, it's nice for the first few months, but then after you're just like, shit, I need to go back home. So for me, I just say, listen, if no one's kicking you out of the house and you've got a good family, don't leave your house until you're financially stable, you've got a job and everything else. Because really and truly, for me, I'll be staying in my house the whole time. Even if I graduate, I would still stay until I find myself in a position where I'm like, you know what, I've got too much money to spare and I'm ready to kind of move out, ready to get a mortgage or just to buy off a house, and boom, that's what I'll do. I don't feel like, that's why I don't understand about a lot of 18-year-olds and over. They feel like, just because I don't get along with my parents, the first few days, and then they just leave, like, we just don't get along at all. I'm like, bro, you just probably had an argument for 1 or 2 days. The next day after, you're just going to forget.
I said to my oldest son, can you tell me a decision that I have made that hasn't been in your interest in your whole life?
That's
You
it.
see what I mean? Because my point is, as a parent, you always make the best decision for your child.
That's it.
That's what a parent's being. Yeah, you may do some things at times which aren't the wisest, lack of experience, but generally you always want the best.
Exactly.
For your child. Okay. So you would say, and apart from location and saving money, what else? Why would you say King's then?
Well, I feel like King's is, they have claimed themselves to be the number one for dentistry.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they have.
I claim myself to be the number one ninja.
Uh-huh.
You know, see me fly from tree to tree. Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, it's just, King's is just, nice. You got a lot of nice people. Like I said, plenty of, opportunity to kind of grow yourself there. And to even grow yourself outside, in the dental community.
Yeah. Are they connected with all the major dentists in London then? It must be, isn't it?
They have a lot of connections with other dental practices, of course. There's a lot of professors that, have, old students that, worked in very close by practices. Like, oh, yeah, I know one person there, I know one person that works
in. Experience.
Exactly. Yeah, so, and the best thing about it, in the dental community, most of them, everyone's open to help you out. And that's the best thing about it, especially in London. I don't know how it feels to be in another city, but from what I've heard, it's a lot more harder. London in general is a place full of opportunity. You want to get a job or something, it's quite easy. Whereas, like, for example, Birmingham, Manchester, all them places, because it's very dispersed, the whole city is dispersed, not everything is, like, close by. So it's very hard to kind of get a job a lot more quicker, basically.
Okay. Oh, thanks a lot for that. It's been a great interest. Is there anything else? Oh, what would be any missing advice that I may have not asked you that you would give to somebody who's going into dentistry?
For me, the best advice, if you're going into dentistry, make sure that your intentions is correct. Don't go there for just the money. I know it's a very rewarding, place, but bear in mind there's a lot of dedication that you need to have to do this course and after it. And the most important thing is just love your role. If you don't like, just generally, if you don't like doing something, just don't do it. Don't force yourself studying something that you're gonna do and then regret. You're gonna hate your life for it.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 years is a big like responsibility that you need to have and a commitment that you need to do. But especially for people that are studying dentistry, my best advice would be make sure that you know what you need to specialize in. Like, try and create a passion for yourself, what area you like in dentistry. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of dentists around. You could say that, for example, yeah, I could do root canals, I could take out your teeth, I can do implants, I can do fillings. But there is no such thing as a dentist that knows everything.
Oh, they have specialisms?
Of course, 100%. And for example,
that's why he sent me. That's why when he said he's going to put one of those wall plug things in my jaw, he told me to go to the dentist next door in the next room.
That's it.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's it. You need to know what you need to have a passion for, especially in dentistry. There are obviously general practitioners. Like, you have your classic NHS, do your fillings, do your little crowns, dentures here and there. But if you really want to put yourself out there and specialize, you'll really kind of like push yourself and you'll get a lot more clientele, actually. A lot of the dental practices will start to recognize you, like, oh, well, he's really good at root canals, I'm going to send him to my, all my referrals are going to be to him.
And then you give them a commission.
Of course.
Yeah.
There's always a talk, whatever, whatever kind of, in terms of money with dentists between them.
My last quick question is, you spoke about owning a dental practice.
Yes.
How much will it cost to own a dental practice?
I mean...
The basic.
The basic. Ooh. I mean, London, man, it's an expensive place. I've seen a lot of people say it takes about 500,000, 250,000, somewhere around that kind of price range. The thing is, for you to even run a dental practice is expensive.
Really?
You need to understand there's a lot of materials that you need to buy, which is expensive itself. It's not like, cheap wholesale 1 pence, 2 pence. The fillings that you do, they cost quite a lot for them to even think, which is why they charge you a lot more, of course. In terms of your staff are expensive too. Dental nurses aren't really that cheap to maintain. Obviously, you can have trainee dental nurses, but do you really want to have someone that's going to be...
It could be costing you a lawsuit.
Exactly. Yeah. Either costing a lawsuit, or either, would you like to have a day where you have very complicated patients, you just want to get things done. You don't have time for someone saying, oh, well, I forgot this in the other drawer and I forgot that in the other room, and then you just see the dental nurse just running around.
Yeah, I see it. Everybody needs to be on point. So
exactly. You just want to pay someone.
Prepared for the best. Paid for the best. You get the best.
You get the best. That's it. So, yeah.
Well, thanks a lot for that.
My pleasure.
And we wish
All
you
good.
well.
My pleasure.
And to the listeners out there, do not forget to listen to our sister podcast, Taxi Africa Investor Stories, where we interview people from around the world who've invested in Africa. In the meanwhile, we hope you learn something from that, whether it's dental, whether it's lip filler or Botox. Have a nice day. We hope that episode enhanced your life. We post an interview every day, as well as vlogging on our social media channels. Don't forget to subscribe to get our latest episode.